want you guys to know that I did tidy the couch before I started filming this video, but Kami decided that that wasn't comfortable, and how can I disturb her? She's an angel. So today we're tackling my April unboxing. We have a tidy little stack of things to open today. I have 5 boxes with I think 6 books total. As usual, we're gonna whiz through everything we have before I start ripping into them. So the first thing on top is an art from Penguin Michael Joseph of a book that I'm pretty sure has now just been released, but I'm very excited to get to. I want to squeeze it in to this month, but honestly guys, there's just too many books in so little time, and I don't know how to read any faster than I already do. I'm pretty sure that this is the April Broken Binding Sci-Fi and Fantasy sub. The March box is still delayed. I'm pretty sure it's the add-on of Blood and Fire by Ryan Carhill that is holding those boxes up, so I'm pretty sure April was sent ahead of March, and I'm still waiting on March, which is fine. But Broken Binding are a UK-based bookshop. They have a few subscriptions as well, brand new adult fantasy or sci-fi releases in exclusive editions, and I can't remember what this one is, so that'll be interesting to find out. And then everything else we have is of course from Fairyloot. So if you are unfamiliar with Fairyloot, they are a UK-based bookish subscription box company. I am a rep for all of their monthly subscriptions, which I am eternally grateful for. Thank you so much to Fairyloot for continuing to send me boxes to show to you guys on my channel. Their 3 monthly subscriptions are their adult fantasy box, their romantasy box, and then the young adult fantasy box, which you can get either as book only, or as I have it here, you can get it in a box with a selection of bookish goodies. This is a pretty big box, so I'm hoping it has something like a jigsaw, and I'm excited to find out why this is so big. But in this one, of course, you get a brand new young adult fantasy release in an exclusive edition. These ones are both book only. You can get them in a combo box like I have here, and that is a romantasy book exclusive edition, brand new release, and also an adult fantasy, once again a brand new release exclusive edition. And on top of these subscriptions that Fairyloot kindly sent to me, I also have a pre-order that I ordered I think over a year ago now. It's a sequel to one of my favorite Fairyloot books, and this is one that I purchased myself. So just before we get into the boxes, I wanted to give a special shout out to Goldsboro Books, who have very kindly invited me to be a rep for their Fellowship subscription over the next 3 months. So this is their sci-fi and fantasy sub, and this is especially exciting because 2 of their 3 picks for April through June are 2 of my most anticipated releases of the year. So their book for April I actually already unboxed over on Instagram if you want to go check it out, but that was Stay for a Spell by Amy Coombe. As with all subscription boxes, Goldsboro have exclusive editions. The really great thing about Goldsboro though is that all of their books are signed and numbered, and their Fellowship subscription especially is limited to 2,000, so there's only 2,000 copies of this book out in the world. They went for a day and a night theme on this one, with the main cover being like a nighttime or dusk version of the original, which I'll overlay, and the original cover is under the dust jacket. We also have this foiled naked hardcover, and actually my favorite element of this one is the printed edge, which features the cat from the cover that is also present on the end papers in here. So the synopsis of this one is part fairy tale, part cozy fantasy, because we are following a princess who wants to make her own life for herself, and she thinks she has done exactly that when she stumbles across this rundown used bookstore. However, she very quickly finds that she is cursed to remain there until she achieves her heart's desire. Her parents obviously become very worried for her, and so they send 7 princes, hoping that true love's kiss from one of these 7 princes will break the curse that is holding the princess in the bookstore. This one I am curious about. Cozy fantasy, typically not my favorite, but I do dabble in it occasionally, and sometimes it does work for me, so hopefully this one will be a hit. And if you guys want to pick up anything from Goldsboro for yourself, the main reason why I'm mentioning this book in this video, even though I've already unboxed it, is because I do have a discount code for you guys. My code is is BeccaBumxx10. That will get you 10% off any in-stock book from Goldsboro. So it doesn't work on pre-orders, it doesn't work on the subscription, but if there is any book from any genre in stock on their site, you can use my code BeccaBumxx10 to get 10% off. And this is a one-time discount code as well. You can only use it on one basket, so use it wisely. And thank you so much to Goldsboro Books for inviting me to be a Goldsboro curator for these 3 months. So today I think we will start off with the Fairyloots. I'm gonna dive into the YA because I'm really curious as to why this box is so big. As usual, I will have spoiled myself for all of these books at some point, but now I have no recollection of what we're gonna be opening today, which is good because then it's a surprise all over again. So I can see that we do not have a jigsaw in here, but we do have something pretty big. So first off, we will start with the spoiler card. The theme for this month is Withered Wilds, and if you guys would like to read the spoilers, you can pause here and take a look at those. I, of course, will be going in blind. So the thing in here that's taking up all of the space is a plant pot. It's quite a heavy one, actually. It is inspired by Sleep Like Death, which I'm pretty sure is a Kaylin Bayron book. Oh, she's quite big. Oh, and she comes with a draining tray as well. That's actually really cool. The bane of my existence is plant pots that have holes in. They're great because you can plant straight into them. You don't need a plastic liner pot, but then if you don't have a tray underneath, then the water goes everywhere. But this is really cute. Honestly, I'm not very good with my plants. I need to repot a bunch of them, but I really hate doing it. But maybe this will be a new pot for some of my succulents, actually. I want to take all the babies that I grew out of their individual pots and kind of plant them together a little bit. I feel like the items we have in today's box are a little bit more cottagecore themed than I expected, given the art on the spoiler card, although it does make sense with the fact that the theme is called Withered Wilds. But the next thing we have is a tote bag with this very fairy tale-esque cottage image on it. I actually kind of like the quality of this one. It feels like a nice size. Quite a deep one and a little bit wider than usual. And this one is inspired by The Spell Shop by Sarah Beth Durst. Next item, and our final core item actually, is a Raven Cycle necklace. This one is obviously inspired by the Raven Cycle. This is really cute, actually. I have still yet to read the Raven Cycle, but it is one of the young adult fantasies that is actually still on my TBR, and I really like the design of this one. It's subtle, it's not silver, but I feel like it's done a good job of imitating, which is nice. And then digging into the bottom of this box, we have the overlays which go with the book of the month. Oh, based on, because I've seen a glimpse of the design of the cover, based on that, I'm surprised at the art style of the overlays. I expected them to be a little darker, a little bit more goth, kind of more along these lines. I think this one threw me off a little bit. But if you guys don't know what page overlays are, they come with every young adult Fairyloot box. When you get the items, you can lay them over the pages at certain points in the book that they relate to, and they're slightly transparent so you can see the text through them. I really like how they look. And I also like to add mine when I'm reading the book. And then right in the bottom of the box, before we get to that book of the month, we have the monthly tarot cards. These once again are in every young adult Fairyloot box, like the overlays, and the idea is that when you get enough Fairyloot boxes, you will have a full deck of tarot. So these ones, based on the art that I've seen, look like they are characters from the book of the month, which they aren't always. The cards that we have this month are Judgment and the World. I like the art style on these ones. And I also really like the design of this month's book, or at least what I've seen of it, but I have no recollection of what this one is about. Oh, the edge is really nice. In here with the book, we do have the monthly bookmark with the spoiler card art on. The Fairyloot book for April is The Gravewood by Kelly Andrew. I do remember this because Kelly Andrew wrote The Whispering Dark, which was one of my favorite books actually of last year. I gave it a really high 4-star rating. It was kind of like an honorable mention in my best books. So when I saw that Fairyloot were doing a Kelly Andrew book, I was actually quite excited about it, but not excited enough to remember that I was going to have this in my hands today. But I am obsessed with this edition. So I will overlay the original cover over the top so that you guys can see the difference. This one has the same color theme as the original, but it is a completely reworked design. I do much prefer this one to the original. I think that the original it's just a book cover, like it's not really doing anything for me. I think it does very much convey paranormal though, which I'm pretty sure this is, given all of the vampire theming that I've seen throughout this box. The edges on here though are stunning. They are so intricate. And of course, as with all Fairyloot books, we have custom end papers that are also foiled. Ooh, and different on both sides. I really like the art style of these. And then underneath the dust cover, we have the original cover. Typically this is in a different colorway. The original cover is red, so I'm not sure if this is just the standard cover. And we have a gorgeous printed naked hardcover. We know this by now. I love a printed hardcover. The foiling on this one as well I find very complimentary to the design, which is great. As I already mentioned to you guys, I have no idea what this one is about. While I'm not the biggest fan of paranormal anymore, I do like contemporary young adult fantasy that deals with some kind of like spooky or occult element. So depending on the tone of this, if the tone of this is anything like The Whispering Dark, I feel like I can get behind it, even though especially in paranormal, vampires and werewolves I'm so over at this point. But the synopsis of this one says love is the deadliest bargain. Shea Parker has lived her entire life in the shadow of the Gravewood, a deadly forest that's cut her town off from the world. With resources dwindling, she's forced to ration her hearing aid batteries. When her stash runs out, she'll be left in silence. Her only hope is Oliver Lysander, the volatile leader of the vampires who rule the Gravewood. Their deal is simple. She gives him her blood, he brings her batteries. No lines crossed, nothing personal. Until Shea's best friend is lured into the Gravewood and her brother Asher Thorley returns from the front lines, willing to expose Shea's darkest secrets to get his sister back. Ever the opportunist, Lysander offers a new bargain. If Asher kills his vampire rival, he'll help find the missing girl, and if Shea agrees to turn, he'll cure her ailing mother. But every deal pulls her closer to Lysander and to becoming a monster herself. Honestly, you know, I know he's the love interest, but never trust a guy called Lysander. I learned that the hard way. So this one does seem like it may have that blend of contemporary fantasy with the paranormal, so there is a chance that I will enjoy this one because it does seem a little bit outside of the realms of a typical paranormal vampire story. Fingers crossed. Down in the comments, let me know what your favorite item from this month's Fairyloot box is. In terms of the box as a whole, I feel like this is a very solid but standard box from Fairyloot. None of the items are blowing me away, but I think together as a box, like, it's very solid and consistent with the quality I expect from Fairyloot. Of the three, I think my favorite is probably the plant pot, but I mean, I have bags of tote bags, but do I use them? Do they come in handy? Absolutely they do, so this will also get some use. And next up I think we'll actually do my pre-order. I'm excited to see this edition. I have read this book. Unfortunately, I didn't think it was as strong as the first book, which was one of my favorite books of the year that I read it, but I'm still happy to have this to complete my collection. The Rebel Witch by Kristen Cicerelli. So this one is a completely reworked cover once again. So I will of course overlay the original so that you guys can see the difference. The design on this is very consistent with book one, which is the Crimson Moth. I love the art style, the faded color palette, the pinks or like the faded reds on here. The edges are stunning. Oh, art style, gorgeous. The end papers are the same on each side for this one. I always find it interesting to get sequels from Fairyloot because they're always designed in line with the first book, obviously the book that they follow, and so it's always interesting to me to see how far Fairyloot have come within their customizations using this, which is in keeping with a book that was in a box 2 years ago and the books that are in the boxes that I'm opening today. Under the dust cover we have just a foiled hardcover this time, and underneath we have the original cover. I do think that this is a different colorway. I think it's more pink than the original. So this is the second book in a Romantasy duology following a witch and a witch hunter, and our witch is a vigilante character called the Crimson Moth, and she is saving witches from execution. Now our main male character, Gideon, is the head of the witch hunters, and he has been tipped off that the main female character, Rune, may be the vigilante Crimson Moth that he's been looking for. So he starts to get closer to her her to figure out if that is true, as she is trying to get closer to him to gain some information on a witch that she is trying to free from imprisonment. Obviously, throughout the course of this, these two grow closer and their fake dating situation turns less fake and more real, but Rune knows that as soon as Gideon finds out who she is, it's going to be game over for their relationship. I did really enjoy Rebel Witch, but I do think that the pace was a little bit faster than I liked, and I probably would have preferred if this series was a trilogy, but overall still really happy to have this one to add to my collection. Now for the adult and romantasy box. Kami is now resting her head on my arm, and I feel like if I move it, I'm really inconveniencing her, which isn't helpful, especially not for an unboxing. There we go. I'm so sorry. We have the Romantasy box, yes. And the theme for this one is Deadly Affairs. I actually don't think I've heard of this book, if I'm being honest. And that one is Death's Daughter by S.A. Barnes. Now, this does look like a completely reworked cover from Fairyloot, so I will, as always, overlay the original. I think that the original cover of this is fine, but I do prefer the Fairyloot edition. I really like the purple on this. And once again, we have very intricate printed edges on this one. So, as always, have custom end papers that are different on both sides. Under the dust jacket, this is always my favorite part because I love a printed hardcover. We do have one. I do prefer the art style actually on the Gravewood to this one, I think, but I still appreciate a printed hardcover. Underneath the dust jacket, we do have the original cover, which I think is a little bit more pink or purple tinge than the original. So as I mentioned, I don't know anything about this book. I haven't even heard of it, which is wild, but the synopsis says, death has been part of her from the very beginning. Jocasta has carved out a normal life at Beach University. Well, as normal as it can be when your name is Jocasta and you are the only child of death. Jo has a good job, great friends, and is trying to get over a secret fling with an unbelievably attractive and unbelievably unavailable grad student, but she's also lonely. No one close to her knows the truth about who or what she is, or that she must feed to survive, and she feeds on them, their disappointments, failures, and rejections. It's not a perfect system, but it works, just. Until a handsome stranger and descendant of lust shows up on campus and announces that Death has formally named Jo as his successor. Now she's both a powerful ally and a massive threat, and everyone she loves is a target. But Beecher is the one place that has ever felt like home, and Jo will do anything to protect it, even if it means becoming the very thing she hates. New semester, fresh blood, welcome to final year at Beecher University. So I do feel like that this has the potential to once again have that contemporary fantasy kind of angle that I really enjoy. Honestly, the synopsis reads to me like YA paranormal romance. So we'll see what this is like in execution, because you know, a unappealing synopsis doesn't necessarily mean a bad book, but I am unsure about this one, so let me know down in the comments if you've read this and what you thought. And then lastly from Fairyloot, we have the adult box. And now that I've seen what this is, I actually can't believe that I forgot, but the theme for this month is Claim Your Power, and the book is of course Starside by Alex Astor. This is a completely custom cover, so I'll overlay the original over the top. Once again, the original cover of this is fine. It's not doing anything exceptional for me. The reworked one though, this is the same artist that Fairyloot have used before, like 100%, but I can't remember what book it is. Is it the, no, the Star, no. Is it the Kylie Lee Baker book? The Night Ends with Fire and the Scarlet Alchemist, but the Scarlet Alchemist I think is maybe just a regular UK cover. Oh, and the Thorn Season, and maybe the Hurricane Wars? I think the Thorn Season was the one that I was thinking of to start off with, and I actually think that the Hurricane Wars, now that I'm looking at it, is a different style. But yes, definitely an artist that I've seen from Fairyloot before. I really like the edges on this one and how it's almost kind of like a stained glass panel is the vibe that I'm getting from the composition of it. The end papers are definitely by Alethian, like I know Alethian when I see them. And they are also different on each side. I love Alethian. Under the dust jacket Beckett. Ooh, I like this. I like the color palette of this one and also the moon, and it's also very, very pretty on the other side. And then underneath we have the original cover. Is that the original cover? I thought it had a sword on it. It does have a sword on it. So this is the same color as the original but without the sword. I do kind of know what this one is about. It is an adult fantasy, obviously, and it is set in a world where people can go through a portal to compete for magic, and the main character goes through, I think, to destroy the people who wield the magic. But to give you guys a better idea of this one, I will read you the synopsis. It says, enter the enchanting and deadly world of Starside, where swords have magic and power isn't inherited, it's claimed. Hundreds of years ago, a brutal war split the land in two. Starside is the realm of magic and immortals, the descendants of the gods, living in a power-rich paradise. Stormside is where mortals fight for scraps of that magic. Every 50 years, the gates between them open, and 50 challengers are allowed to journey across Starside on a deadly quest for magic that can heal, grant wealth, or extend life. Everyone has their reasons for entering, but Iris only has one: vengeance against the gods who killed her family. Winning one of the 50 spots on the quest won't be easy. An orphaned blacksmith's apprentice, Iris doesn't have the superior weapons of the heirs from the great houses, but the greatest swords, ones that contain power, are not inherited or bought, they are claimed by both sides. And when Iris claims a great sword, it makes her not just a real competitor, but a target. Countless dangers await on Starside, with a blade most would kill to take. Iris can't trust anyone, especially not Harlan Raker, the merciless and mysterious knight who betrayed her years ago, and who may now be the key to her survival. But Iris is hiding a secret tied to her family's death, and when it's revealed, not even the gods will be able to stop what's coming. So I actually haven't read anything from Alex Aster before, but I'm really excited to get into this one, hopefully sometime very, very soon. And it has this trial element that I really love, as well as I'm assuming what is going to be a romance, because I have seen this promoted as romantasy as well. And as Alex Aster is a fairly popular author, it would be great if I did enjoy her books, but we'll have to wait and see. Next up, we'll do the Broken Binding April box, which I just hit myself with, but it didn't hurt because this box is actually quite light. So I'm interested to see what we have in here, because she feels like a small one. She is quite slender. Oh, I know what this book is. I forgot that this was going to be a Broken Binding book. Also, low-key, one of my anticipated releases of the year, but I feel like I need to do a lot of work before I can read it. And I actually did not know it was going to be this small. I thought that this book would be thicker. The theme, though, for those of you who don't know what this is ruthless kindness. And I'm excited to see what the Broken Binding edition of this looks like, because I do really like the normal cover. And it is The Daughter of Crows by Mark Lawrence. So I will overlay the original over the top. I feel like they've kept the original colour in this bottom half, but then they've gone into like a yellow and orange in the top. And I'm not sure if the two quite go together. For me, I don't know how I feel about the blend of the two different halves of this. This is not necessarily my issue with the Broken Binding, because I do really like their subscription, but I really love the book picks. The book picks are really interesting to me, and I think I'm going to love the majority of them, which is something that we will test out at some point in the future. But aesthetically, they're not always my favourite. I do like the edge, like the design of it, but it's the colour for me once again. Hey babes. Hello. We have custom end papers, which I do like the art style on these, and they are different on each side. It's giving Battle for Winterfell. We have an orange naked hardcover, which is, I think, spot gloss as opposed to foil. And then we have the original cover in a different colorway, which once again is orange. I feel like the orange is a choice. Orange isn't my favorite color. I wonder if that is the issue. I actually much prefer the original cover of this with the like tealy grey green situation going on. But also I feel like if we'd have committed to the orange in this, it would still be orange, and that may still be an issue for me, but I feel like Anyway, this is Mark Lawrence's newest release. I really like the Book of the Ancestor series from Mark Lawrence. I recently read Prince of Thorns and decided that I don't want to continue on with that series. However, I have heard that Mark Lawrence's books are all vaguely connected, which I did get a little inkling of based on what I knew from the Book of the Ancestor series. series and the only interesting part of Prince of Thorns for me. So I believe that you maybe should read this after the, is it Book That Burned, The Book That Broke, The Book That Burned, The Library, The Burning, The Book. It's right here. The Book That Wouldn't Burn. I think you should read that series before this one. That is just what I vaguely heard though, so please do your own research on that and don't just take my word for it. Which is fine because I am really excited to read that series as well. But yeah, this one is actually quite a bit thinner than I thought it would be, given the fact that The Book That Wouldn't Burn and that series are probably his chunkiest, I would say, apart from the spin-off from Prince of Thorns. Anyway, I digress. Let me read you guys the synopsis of this one. It says the Academy of Kindness exists to create agents of retribution, cast in the image of the Furies, the kindly ones, against whom even the gods hesitate to stand. Each year, 100 girls are sold to the Academy. 10 years later, only 3 emerge. The Academy's halls run with blood. The few who survive its decades-long nightmare have been forged on the sands of the Wound Garden. They have learned ancient secrets amid the necrotic fumes of the Bone Garden. They leave its gates as avatars of vengeance, bound to uphold the oldest of laws. Only the most desperate would sell their child to the kindnesses, but Rue, she sold herself. And now, a lifetime later, a long and bloody lifetime later, just as she has discovered peace, war has been brought to an old woman's doorstep. That was a mistake. I'm intrigued. This is very reminiscent of the Book of the Ancestor to me. So I'm excited to see what we have going on here. And then lastly, we have our arc from Penguin Michael Joseph. This one is a dystopian romance, which is becoming more and more popular at the moment. I have Daggermouth lined up on my Kindle, still want to get to that. I also have the Brooke Fast book, is that To Cage a Wild Bird. I know that the Silver Elite is very popular, although I'm not sure if I'm going to pick that one up. At this point, I kind of need to dive in and find out if dystopian romance is going to do it for me. As somebody who is not incredibly nostalgic for the dystopia of the like 2010s, that was not my favorite era for books. Hi, yes, you've just woken up, haven't you? Okay. Mwah. What about you take this? Oh, I got over there. So the box says, hide the spark, fight the storm. You don't need to do this right here. It's the only way we're going to get through the end of this video. I apologize because there's going to be some ripping and tearing. But the book in question is, of course, Stormbreaker by Nisha Tooley. I've heard really good things about this from the people who've read it so far. It also comes with this bookmark that has the text from the box on it. Aside from this being dystopian romance, oh, it goes that way. I had it upside down. Aside from this being dystopian romance, I don't know too much about the plot of it, but the synopsis says, for 19-year-old poet Graves, New Manhattan has always promised safety if she obeys. Raised within the ruling houses and betrothed to a powerful heir, she enters Amory Academy, knowing her future has already been decided. But Amory is nothing like she imagined. Its trials are brutal, its loyalties conditional, and its rules designed to expose weakness. As Poet struggles to survive, she must hide the truth that could get her executed. The storms don't fear her, they answer back. When a dangerous outsider from beyond the city walls enters the academy, Poet is drawn to him despite everything she's been taught to believe. He threatens the life she's been promised, and choosing him could cost her not just her future, but her freedom. So the thing that really draws me to this is, once again, the trials. I just feel like trials are a really good format for the first book in a series, whether that be fantasy or in this case dystopian. This is kind of giving dystopian in the way that Red Queen by Victoria Aveyard is dystopian, where it feels, at least based on the synopsis, obviously I haven't read it yet, but based on the synopsis it feels a little more high fantasy despite still solidly being a dystopian world, which is also interesting to me because Red Queen is one of my favorite series and I would love to read a book that is inspired by or influenced by that in some way without being plagiarism. If you know, you know. And this one was released on the 7th of May, so I have 3 releases now lined up for the 7th of May. I would love to do a vlog reading all 3 of those. I am currently working on a epic fantasy heavy reading vlog though, which is slowing me down a little bit, so we'll see if I have time for it in May, but I will definitely get to this over the next couple of months regardless. And of course, thank you so much to Penguin Michael Joseph for putting this one in my hands. So that does conclude my April unboxing with this wonderful stack of new releases. I will flip it around. I think I forgot to do this last month. I'm so sorry. So that you guys can see the gorgeous edges we have here. Down in the comments, let me know what your favorite edition from this stack is. Mine's the first one we opened. It's The Gravewood by Kelly Andrew. And I do feel like this is a strong contender for a book that I'll also enjoy because it is by an author that I've really liked in the past. We all know that my track record for actually liking the most beautiful special edition books I have is spotty at best. If I'm obsessed with the edition, I normally am ambivalent about the book at best. Why did you pick the loudest piece of paper to rip up? So once again, a big thank you to Fairyloot, Penguin, Michael Joseph, and also Goldsboro for providing some of the books in the boxes that I showed to you guys in today's video. Down in my description box, you will find a link to all of the websites for all of these, as well as all of their social media and any discount codes that I may have. But aside from that, guys, please don't forget to like this video if you liked it and subscribe if you wanna. If you head into my description box, you'll also find a link to my Goodreads, my Instagram, my Patreon, and also my TikTok if you want to follow me on any of those. But that's it for me today, guys. Bye.
Oh, you bite your friend like chocolate. You say you're go and nobody knows, with guns hidden under our petticoats. We're never gonna quit it, no, we're never gonna quit it, no.